The opposition, Nancy Charles. Ms. Charles, good morning.
Good morning, Andre, and good morning to our listeners, those of you in the diaspora, and those of you who are right here in Saint Lucia, who are listening to us on 97.1 FM. And if you do not have a radio, you can also watch us on the Facebook page of Rev Up Saint Lucia, or also the United Workers' Party page. This is another edition of Meet the Opposition. It is meeting members, supporters, friends of the United Workers' Party, and it is a show that we have dedicated to you, the people of St. Lucia, to ensure at the end of the day that you can get the perspective of the United Workers' Party, but equally important that we can share with you the facts and the information as to what is happening in our country so that you can make the right decision. This morning, I do want to say special greetings, Andre, to our friends in Canada. They are always locked on. And I want to remind you very early in the program, in case I forget, that they will be hosting our 60th anniversary gala dinner. It's going to be a gala evening in Canada. I want to shout out to my friend Efrika Das, Cheryl Francis, Minerva Ward, and the entire team at our Canada caucus who's organizing and putting that event. If you're listening to me this morning and you have not purchased your tickets, please go online and do so now, because we have a powerhouse of speakers. The chairman of the party will be there, Mr. Thurl Prudent. The deputy political leader, Mr. Guy Joseph, will be there. And also our political leader, Honorable Alan Chasney, will be there. Of course, yours truly will be there, in spirit, of course.
Oh, okay.
But you know how it is, right? Yeah. And I also want to say a special good morning, Andre, to our people here in St. Lucia. There are some people religiously, Andre, by the time I leave studio and I walk out from here and I get out the door, I get those text messages from them that says, good job, I'm really proud of you, good show today, etc., etc., etc. And I have to say to you, I am so grateful to some of these people. I'll not mention everybody, but I have people like Dr. Jocelyn Fletcher, Fortuna Belrose, Jacinta Lee, Janine Compton, my girlfriend Florina Dalsu. Well, she's not in St. Lucia now, she's in the UK, but she's already watching, and a lot of other women and men who do support me, and they send me those little things. Of course, some of them send me little tidbits as well, how to improve and how to make the program better. I want to say thank you very much to you this morning. I do appreciate you. And those of you that I didn't mention your name this morning, please don't message me and say, Nancy, how come you don't mention my name? You don't call me.
although Nancy,
sometimes you can, if I have to mention everybody, we'll take the entire program. All right.
Although it may be better, because I was just thinking a while ago when you started rattling off those names, I'm sure some people are going, UWP.
Actually, I do have some people who are not UWP. I'm not at liberty to mention their names, but they do message me as well. Some of them, if they vex because I said something about Labour Party, they say, but why you had to say that? Why this, that, and whatever. But you know, some of them, they do message a day or two after, or sometimes after they've watched the program, they'll send me a message and said, oh, I just wanted to let you know this and that. So I do have a lot of people
on both sides.
On both sides who are watching, and people on no sides who are watching as well. Andre, I have to say as well, as I go around St. Lucia, maybe I go to the supermarket or I go to a store, I go out to do some business, strangers, people who I don't know, they saying, "Who are you, Miss Nancy Charles?" And I would say yes, and they say, "Good job, keep up the good work. I listen to your program. It's a very informative program." So I am grateful that I am trying my best, St. Lucia, to ensure that I, together with the team at the United Workers' Party, that we run a program that is factual, it's substantive, and that people from all walks of life can say to me they are listening in and they're very proud of the program. So I hope I continue to keep you proud. You know, sometimes maybe as election gets closer, we say a lot of things. So I hope I don't fall into that trap, right, Andre?
Yes, like
yes, but Julia B said, good morning. Maggie Dile, good morning. Let me see. Donovan, Jean-Francois Francis, a whole bunch of them under the live already saying good morning. Good morning to you all. Greetings from Connecticut. You have persons from Canada, persons from the US. Somebody says to me, "Nancy, you look really beautiful. I have a glow like an angel." Oh, my boyfriend KKR. He's also watching. Thank you, KKR. So, good morning, good morning, good morning. I want to start off with my words of encouragement. Because as I said to Andre when I walked in, I said to him, "Andre, I vex, you know. On St. Lucia, I real vex. But I have to calm myself, so let me breathe in."
That's since yesterday, right?
And let me breathe out from last night. Yes. And let us get into our words of encouragement this morning. This morning, Andre, I got up a little bit earlier than usual. I really wanted to stay in bed, but I had some stuff to do on the farm. I had a few lettuce. Let me tell you my secret. I had a few lettuce plants that I really needed to plant this morning. So I got up about 5:30 after my husband woke up to get ready for work, and then I went on the farm to do that. And whilst I was doing that, I was thinking about a few things, and I said to myself, "Well, what are you worrying about?" And I said to me, maybe I should remind us and remind myself about something that we do all the time, and that is called worrying. You know, and I remember Christ when he spoke to his disciples, and he spoke to them about worrying. And he says to them, "What are you worrying about? You know, don't you know, I mean, your heavenly Father, he cares about the birds. The birds, they do not work, they do not toil. The birds do no work, right, Andre?
Basically.
As far as we're concerned, they're just flying all over the place. But he says your heavenly Father provides for them. Yeah? And what does he provide for them? He allows for others to work. So I plant my peas, they come and eat my peas. I plant my this or whatever. But that is God's way of providing for the birds. And he says to us that the birds of the air, these animals, they have no soul, Andre. And they're just fluttering all over the place. But if he created you and I, the Bible says to us that he came and he used his hands and he formed us and he breathed into us the breath of life. And if he took his time to create you, you are much more important than the birds of the air. You are much more, he said, look at the lilies in the field. You know, look at how I clothe them. They're so beautiful. And you are much more valuable to me than these. And I provide for them. I take care of them. I give them food. I send them rain and sunshine to make them grow and glow. How much more will I not do or provide for you? Now, it's easy for us to say that when you have the need and you don't see the money, or you don't see the food, or you don't see the way out of the situation. It's very easy for us to say that. But when I look back over my life, what I have tried to do over the years, Andre, in terms of worrying, is to remind myself of the many times that I was in a particular situation and God came through for me. When I didn't see any way out, it happened at the last minute. Just in the nick of time it happened. And I remind myself, but if he did it then, the Bible says that he will do it again and again, because he's a God that does not change. So my encouragement to you this morning is, why worry? As the Bible says, which one of you by worrying can change 1 inch of your stature? If you think you're too short and you worry, oh boy, I'm too short, I am 5'1", I'm too short. Can I change my height, Andre? by worrying, maybe I can change my head by doing something about it. I can put tall heels. I can, there's certain things I can do to change. So if there's something you can do, why don't you think about or make effort in thinking about how you can change, fix, or do what you need to do instead of just saying there, feeling sorry for yourself and worrying about the situation. So my encouragement and my reminder to you this morning, I'm sure you can think of one, if not two, if not three. But at least if you can think of one situation that you were in and God came through for you, use that as your stepping stone, that when a particular situation arises, to say, God came through for me in that situation, and I believe that He will come through for me in this particular situation, so you can stop yourself about worrying. Is that okay? Somebody call me Pastor Nancy. No, I'm not a pastor. I'm just somebody who loves God and who tries as much as possible to read the Word of God and try to maybe allow it to impact my life in the most possible way that I can. Now, I'm not perfect because many times I do fail in sometimes I can see it plain bang there and then I still, don't do it. But I try as much as possible. When I encourage you on a morning, Andre, I'm also encouraging myself and reminding myself. So I want to remind you of that. Okay, so that is my word of encouragement this morning. I hope you take it in the spirit that it was given, and then we can now get to the meat of the matter. Now, you see, it's a good thing you do those type of encouragement. Andre, I'm not vexed anymore.
So you want to end the show now?
Yes. I'm not vexed anymore, Saint Lucia. Wow. Thank you, God. You've calmed my spirit. So I'm not vexed anymore. I have to say I'm disappointed. So I'll use my words. I am disappointed. I really, really, really thought that, when we are given opportunities to fix things and to make things better, that we use it. But anyway, that is the expectations you have of other people. And maybe I shouldn't have those type of expectations. But St. Lucia, here we are, another Thursday. Sunday is Father's Day, Andre.
Of course.
I know you're a dad. You have two boys?
No, one.
You have one boy? And you have a girl?
Two girls.
Oh, you have two girls. Oh, my gosh. Oh, all right. So, happy Father's Day in advance to you, Andre.
And I don't know why, when I had the first child, they said it was a girl. A girl. Right? And when I had the second girl, a girl.
A girl.
A girl. Yeah.
But I'm sure you love them so much.
Oh, yes,
Yeah. I know daddies love the girls. My husband is very protective of his two daughters. So let me say happy Father's Day, and let me wish all the men who are under the live and those of you who are listening to us on Rev Up 97.1 and every single man in St. Lucia, wherever you may be, if you're a father, and especially if you're a good father, because they say there's a difference between dad, daddy, and father, and all this kind of terminology, because there are some people who just give birth, but they don't really play their part or have their responsibility. Maybe Sunday is an opportunity for you to do some reflection when nobody wishes you happy Father's Day, and you say, Mama, gasa, money twice, happy Father's Day. It's a time for you to reflect and to say, Mama, I pass some and then to start all over. It's never too late to be a dad, Your son or your child may be 20, 30, 40. It's never too late to start,
I agree.
Start from somewhere. So if you were not good at it, it's an opportunity to start. But happy Father's Day in advance. Let me wish all the men, especially those of you within the United Workers' Party who has been a strong pillar and support for me. Happy Father's Day to you all. However, Andre, I think for me, it's also very sad that we continue to see an increase in murders of men, young men. I think one of the young men who was killed over the weekend, St. Lucia, in case you haven't heard, we had 4 shootings over the weekend. And then we also had, that was 4, I don't know, there's murders over the weekend. But you also had one police shooting where it was alleged that 2 men broke into a police officer's house. I don't know why they would do something like that. But they broke into a police officer's house, and apparently the officer, in defending his property, shot one of them. And young men. But I heard one of the interviews, and one of the ladies said that, I think she was pregnant. I don't know if you heard that. She was pregnant, and she's saying she don't know how she's going to raise her child on her own. The child now doesn't have a father. So our young men, and our even older men who have children, young boys, please consider that, because this thing doesn't only impact. It's not like the young men die and they're like a dead dog on the road. They have family, they have responsibilities, they have children, they leave a lot behind. And I think I am putting the challenge to the men today. Of course, it's for entire society, but in particular the men, because we're preparing for Father's Day and it's a lot of young men. Take on the mantle, on the responsibility. Let's try and see if we can steer our young men away from that. You understand? And I listened to Honorable Jeremiah Norbert, and it was painful to listen to him, Andre, honestly. I think he's the Minister for Crime Prevention. Yes. And he did not, I mean, in speaking to the deafs, he just said it was unfortunate, etc. But there was not one suggestion or one idea that was put on the table by Jeremiah Norbert to say, okay, well, in the coming weeks, this is what we're going to do. We're going to put this or whatever. The only thing he could speak about was the fact that they've given the police jet skis and bikes and whatever it is that he said. These things do not prevent crime alone. There needs to be a strategy or a plan that goes with it, Andre. You understand?
And Nancy, just in case, I mean, you'll win the next election and so on. I mean, moving forward, when these things happen, when we have these tragedies, I feel very strongly that the police should come out and make an official statement.
They must. They should.
We have heard nothing official from the police. Nothing. Well, except for the Minister for Crime Prevention.
Yeah.
I mean, you have an entire cabinet, including the Prime Minister. As far as I have heard, nothing.
Nothing,
I mean, when
Andrew.
things like that happen, you need to come out and make a statement.
It is, and I think that is what is frustrating St. Lucians, not only with the crime, but with everything that's happening in this country. You hear all these things happening, and unless the United Workers' Party agitates strongly about something, then and only then you'll get a response from the government, you know. But the people who voted for the government, Andre, you know, the government don't play them no mind. They don't even respond to them. It's like people are talking, and they don't respond. You understand? But I agree with you. The commissioner should come out. I mean, see it in the States. 4 people dead. And not one senior member of the police force came out and do a little press conference and say, this is where we're at. This is what transpired. This week, these are some of the measures we'll be putting in place to try and, because obviously what we understand, I'm no strategist, but what we understand is once there is a particular shooting, Andre, there's a retaliation. And the police knows that. If we know that, the police knows that. So if you know that Andre was shot or somebody from Andre's family was shot, there's a potential for retaliation, then you need to come up with a plan to put some preventative measures in place to prevent the retaliation. Nothing, Andre. Aye. You understand? And so the Minister for National Security said that the only thing I know, the only plan he came out was that we would be hiring a consultant. I heard that very clear. He said they've met with many people, they've met with many consultants, so they'll be hired. So you now have, Andre, a Minister for National Security, you have a Minister for Home Affairs, you have a Minister for Crime Prevention, and amongst the three of them, they're now going to hire a consultant to tell them what to do. Can you imagine that, St. Lucia? We have the highest crime rate in the OECS region. We have the highest murder rate so far for St. Lucia, if along the trajectory that we're going. And Jeremiah Norbert is coming on our television and tell me about a consultant. I mean, do you have no pride in yourself, Jeremiah? I mean, how do you allow the Prime Minister to make you Minister of Crime Prevention? I've never heard that anyway. Nobody knows what the portfolio entails, Andre. Nobody knows what the job description is. Nobody knows what is it that the minister is supposed to do. I mean, Jeremiah, te tell me fape one ministry. Prime Minister about crime prevention. One poisa. Minister ou te vle go ha? Ou just te vle minister pou moun ki yo minister ko poisa crime prevention? So, tell us so far, Mr. Norbert, how many rapes have you been able to reduce? What was the statistic for rapes and what is the reduction now? How many robberies have you been able to reduce? Because we've been talking about murder, but these things are crime as well. How many robberies have you been able to be reduced? What was the rate of robberies then? And since you became minister, what is the rate now? How many house break-ins or burglaries have you been able to reduce? How many houses people were breaking into then? And how many has it been reduced to? How many firearm cases have you been able to reduce? What is it? What crime are you preventing? I mean, this is pure nonsense in St. Lucia, and we should be talking about this. You understand? Our resources are limited, Andre. You understand? And we're using our limited resources for all kinds of things that make no sense and brings no result. But I digress. All right? But Andre, the substantive thing that I want to really speak about today is what has transpired when I left here on Thursday with reference to CIP and coming back here. When I left there on Thursday evening, I think there was an interview with Lisa Joseph and Mr. Martinez Felipe. And in that interview, Mr. Martinez made a number of statements of facts, of information that he says he's in possession with reference to CIP, with reference to Ernest Hilaire, and with reference to Mr. McLeod Emmanuel. Subsequent to that, Andre, we saw Mr. McLeod Emmanuel then issued a statement. He didn't give an interview. He issued a statement. And basically in his statement, St. Lucia, if you look at it, he verified more or less what Philip Martinez said. Philip Martinez said he came to New York, to DC, he verified. Philip Martinez said that they spoke and they had discussions, he verified. And so at the end of the day, after that, then Philip Martinez said that Mr. McLeod gave him additional information with reference to Ernest Hilaire. And so you now had a revised interview by Philip Martinez yesterday. And then last night, you also had a statement by Ernest Hilaire, who's the minister responsible for national security. So a whole bunch of drama happening in St. Lucia. It's Roro time, all right? Mr. Martinez has filed what you call a RICO lawsuit. And everybody here in RICO, St. Lucia. Again, teacher Nancy is here. So I went online to, find out what does RICO means, what is the RICO law. And so what I found was that the RICO law, or RICO, stands for R-I-C-O. R is for racketeer, I is for influence, C is for corrupt, and O is for organizations. So there is something called the RICO law, Andre, or the Racketeer, Influence, and Corrupt Organizations Act. It is a law that allows the government of the United States to punish individuals associated with criminal activity, specifically the leaders of crime organizations. So before the RICO law existed, crime bosses, so the bigger bosses never do the thing. They send the little Zelev all over to do it. So the crime bosses would order their minions to carry out crimes for them and claim innocence if the police found out. It's not me, I didn't do it. So and so. So the argument was that technically nobody could prosecute them for the crimes like murder, robbery, drug trafficking, whatever it was, because they weren't the ones doing it.
Oh, there's no evidence.
Because there's no evidence that they physically did it.
Link, yeah.
But they were the ones giving the orders. And so what you find, Andre, even if you catch the little fishes, the big sharks are still up there. You can't catch them. And so that is why the RICO law came into existence, to be able to catch the big fishes. All right? And so the RICO law made it possible for the police to arrest even the leaders of those crimes. So once they were able to get members of your organization committing those type of activities, then they can tie them to you as part of the organization, then they can prosecute you as well. So that is what RICO law is, St. Lucia. So RICO lawsuit, it's very simple, and that's what it means. And you can also Google it. You can go online and Google it, and you'll see the explanation and everything there. So this is the type of lawsuit that Mr. Martinez filed. Now, why is this important, and why is it important for us to talk about it? Because I've heard a few persons as well say to me, Nancy, every day is that CIP thing you're talking about, and stuff like that. Mwen pa me like CIP, mwen ka just try antibay la, mwen bezwen pay bills mwen and stuff like that. Mwen me like CIP. And I understand. I understand, because when you hear about it and you're not able to tie it to you and how it matters to you and how it impacts you, of course all you're concerned about is surviving, Andre, and things are already hard in this country. So I understand, but
and also people are very, very skeptical, so you need somebody with some kind of integrity
people
who can explain these things.
People
Even
feel
me.
it's politicians is the two politicians, UWP and Labour, just throwing mud at each other.
Exactly.
And that is the concept that people think. And for me, which is why I want to come here, and over the last couple of weeks, I've paid attention. I've already explained to you the CIP, how it works, the different options, etc. And I've done that deliberately so you can understand the facts and the specifics, that when we say something, it's not mudslinging. We are giving you substantive and factual information so that you can think for yourself and see what is happening. Because with this program, Andre, United Workers' Party was in power. When we came into power, this thing was already enacted, the legislation by the Labour Party. When we came in 2016, we put all the checks and balance in place and we implemented it. For the 5 years we were in power, you never had that drama on the UWP for CIP. Did you recall? You were in the media.
No.
The only issue that people were talking about is how you're using the money. And we kept saying to them it was in the budget allocation when Alan Shashney presented, because there's a report that was supposed to be presented every year. When he presented, he would remind St. Lucians, this is what we've used the CIP money for. There was no talk of bobble. There was no talk of lawyers taking money, of money going in people's account. There was none of that during UWP. All of a sudden, the Labour Party has come in. Ernest Hilaire has taken over, and you can see that all of a sudden Labour Party has taken over, and all of a sudden it's drama. Money missing, $1.4 billion allegedly given to some investor. We don't know where that money is. That's our money, Andre. And I listened to the minister and he says, the money goes into an escrow account. That's the investor money. No, minister, you are wrong. That's our money. Because he sold our passport to get that money. So it's not his money. It's our money. And he's accountable to us for our money. But I will get into that. All right? I will get into that. Again, Andre, like I said, when we were in office, you didn't have none of that drama. But you had all these kinds of allegations about everybody within the UWP, about everything else. You remember that? There was no evidence on this thing. Who was thieving? Who was a crook? Who was that? Who was that? Every day was an allegation of corruption. No evidence. To the extent that they said they're going to hire a special prosecutor. Have you heard anything from the special prosecutor, Andre?
No.
On November 20th last year, they came with a big bang. We hired a special prosecutor, because everybody said a special prosecutor coming for UWP. You remember that? They were so excited. The special prosecutor was announced on the 20th of November. His name is Mr. Robert Innocent. And 7 months later, November, December, January, February, March, April, May, June, 7 months later, nobody knows where Mr. Robert Innocent is. Nobody knows where his office is. Nobody knows his telephone number. Nobody knows where is the special prosecutor. But we are paying somebody almost $15,000 a month as a special prosecutor, and no word from the special prosecutor.
Hold a second. Are you sure you said that?
That is what my information is given, because he's higher than a grade 21. And so his salaries and perks and everything added, it amounts to almost about $15,000. That is what we're paying somebody every month. Now, the government can come out and give the facts and show his contract if it's not so much, but that is my information, and I stand corrected on that. But that's the information I've been given, because a grade 21 Andre, normally the salary is about $12,000-$13,000 plus the other allowances. It brings it up to that amount. All right? So it may even be more. It may even be more.
So are we to assume that he's doing his work? Maybe that's why he's getting his salary.
But what work is he doing? We don't know. So at least he can give a little report. At least the government was so excited to say we've hired a special prosecutor can say he's working on 2 cases right now. He's working on 1 case right now. He's working on this allegation right now. Because the United Workers' Party is very, very... We want his office. We want to know where his office is. We want his number. Because we have cases that we want to bring to the attention of the special prosecutor. Because we were told it's a public prosecutor, and the public will be allowed to bring to his attention matters that they think is in the public interest. We have cases that we want to bring to the attention of the special prosecutor. Where is his office? What is his contact number? Where is he located? We need to know about him.
So, Mr. Charles, as an
Mr.
opposition,
Innocent, answer your name.
As an opposition, you don't know where his office is?
No, I have, and I'm telling you the God honest truth. Before this show, I made 1 or 2 calls to verify and to ask, and the 2 people that I spoke to could not tell me. They couldn't tell me. So, please, Miss Monday Lewis, I know sometimes you listen to my show. My good friend Monday. Monday is my friend. Monday, if you're listening, send out a press statement to tell us where is the special prosecutor's office located. What is his contact number? What are his contact numbers? His email address. We want where his office is so we can pay him a visit so that we can bring to his attention a few matters in the public interest. Thank you. Please and thanks. All right. Then I move away from the special prosecutor. So let's look into Mr. Martinez, Mr. McLeod, and Mr. Hilaire. Now, folks, I have to tell you, when I got in here this morning, Andre was very confused. All right. And I think a lot of you are also very confused. A lot of St. Lucians are also very confused because they heard Martinez say one thing on Lisa. Then they heard McLeod say one thing with a press statement. Then they heard Hilaire say something again last night. And then Martinez go back and say another thing. So it's always a he say, she say. I mean, Andre, can you imagine? This is where we're at in 2024 in St. Lucia.
Well, I'll tell you the truth. I opine on almost everything happening in St. Lucia. And this one, I don't know what's going on.
But I can certainly tell you, Andre, some people told me that I'm a gade because I knew exactly what Ernest Hilaire was going to say before he said it in his speech. And I also posted it on social media. I knew that he was going to say Alan Chasney brought Galaxy. I knew he was going to say Alan Chasney is in cahoots with Martinez to bring me down. I knew he was going to say I am innocent and I am not guilty. And I knew he was going to say, well, Alan tried to bring me down with Rovergate and he didn't succeed. So now he's getting his lawyer to force McLeod to help to bring me down. And I know he was going to say, Alan Chasney did not provide any information on DSH. I knew DSH had to come into the conversation. I knew that. And I knew he was going to say, Alan did this and Alan did that. Andre, I sat down last night and I went back to listen to the tape, folks. I stayed up very late preparing. And I went back and I sat down and I listened to, the speech was 19 point something minutes. Andre, I counted, I wrote it there, and you can see it on my little paper. Look, I have it there, I highlighted it. Andre, you know Ernest Hilaire mentioned Alan Chasney's name 19 times in the speech. Alan Chasney and UWP. 19 times. 1 time for every minute. Alan Chasney, Alan Chasney, Alan Chasney. I couldn't believe it. Folks, can you imagine that? Can you believe that? And then, you know, Andre, there's a little saying that we have in St. Lucia. They say, Mama, kuye jamet avant kuye jam avant kuye jamet, you know? Point d'ouvant avant d'ouvant point, right? So what the Labour Party tried to do initially when the gentleman came out and said he had this type of information and he was calling on the government, because that's the first time I, Nancy Charles, heard about Philip Martinez. I didn't know anything about that. I cannot tell you if Alan Chasney knew about Martinez before. He never mentioned anything. We never spoken about that. I saw this thing with this gentleman saying that he has information with reference to what's happening in CIP in St. Kitts, and he's calling on the Prime Minister and Mr. Hilaire to come up to DC to view the, and he had not filed no case, nothing yet. That's the first time this thing came out.
So do you know, I'm sorry, so do you know why he was seeking the assistance of the CIP unit's cooperation here? Do you know why? Why St. Lucia? We have other countries in the UCS.
When I listened to the initial interview, he was saying that, listen, I am about to file a lawsuit with these people in St. Kitts, and that involves a company called Galaxy. They are involved in fraudulent activity. These were his words. They are involved in fraudulent activity in St. Kitts. And it is my understanding that they are now operating in St. Lucia. So you know that thing about Lebab Kamawadu Puidi Feuze Sao. He was cautioning the people in St. Lucia to say, in my investigation, in preparing to take Galaxy and everybody else in St. Kitts to court, I have unearthed information that pertains to St. Lucia, that whatever scheme that Galaxy or fraudulent activity they're doing in St. Kitts, they are doing the same thing in St. Lucia. And I have unearthed that information. And so I am now calling on the government of St. Lucia to say, I have those evidence and I have that information. So if you wish to see this information, I am asking you to come to Washington, D.C. to see what I have. That's what he said in a nutshell. And that's where he reached out initially to the government of St. Lucia, to Philip J.P. and Hilaire, to say, I have information. I was doing my investigation about St. Kitts with Galaxy, but Galaxy and Lescan, they've moved to St. Lucia. They're now doing this thing in St. Lucia, and I have evidence to show that the same thing they were doing in St. Kitts, Andre, they are doing it in St. Lucia. So come and see what the information that I have is. That's all. What did the Prime Minister do? He called the man Jamet before the man called him Jamet. He said the man is a fraud and he's a criminal, and they call him all kinds of names. And yes, I think when we looked at the background, there has been cases or instances of him being convicted of fraud. I think he's gone to jail, etc. But let's talk about fraud and people who's gone to jail and bad character. Andre, do you remember a young man a couple of years ago? There was this allegation, and I'm being very careful. There was this allegation that an ex-girlfriend of his had made allegations of either rape or unwanted sexual advances or something to that effect. You remember that? He was a young reporter at a television station at the time. And when that allegation came out, everybody says UWP behind it. I didn't know why. I don't even understand that. And then, lo and behold, around the same time these things were coming out, there was a hoax bomb threat at the airport, VG airport. You remember that? And then it was said that it was the young man who made that call when they did the investigation, and he was arrested, and I think he was charged. Of course, subsequently, St. Lucia, I think the charges were dropped a couple of years later, but he was arrested and he was charged. And when he was arrested and charged, then they said that while he was in the cell, he tried to kill himself, he tried to drink all-purpose cleaner, they had to send him to turning point, a whole bunch of drama. You remember that, Andre? Where is that young man now?
In St. Lucia?
He is in the office of the Prime Minister. Okay? When y'all want to call Mr. Martinez a fraud and a criminal, he is in the office of the Prime Minister today. Then what about Miguel Fevrier? That one I can call out his name. Miguel Fevrier was convicted as a thief in the courts of St. Lucia. He was working at a bank and he stole money. All the court documents are there. The court convicted him and they fined him. And they said he had to pay back the money. You all remember that? Sometime in, is it 2020 or 2021? I can't remember the year. The court, he did not pay back the money, and they issued a warrant for his arrest. He was arrested and he was sent to Bordelais. And I was told it was my best friend Richard who paid his bail for him to get him out. And I don't know if they paid the money, etc., etc. But he's a convicted criminal. And where is he? He was at the Department of Infrastructure at the as a communications officer. So should we not listen to him or take him on because he has a criminal record as well? And then let's talk about Richard, my good friend Richard. Who's his attaché? Andre, the other day I stayed there and I asked somebody because I was a little girl. And I remember there was this prison story about this escape. You were in the media. I don't know if you can help me out there. Some prisoners running on top of buildings in Castries. I didn't even know buildings in Castries because I was so young. Prisoners running on top. They escaped prison running on top. And there was this, that was in the media everywhere and stuff like that. Wasn't it that same gentleman who's the attaché of Richard Frederick was that person? He was convicted of murder. He went to prison. So he's a convicted murderer. He served his time, but he's a convicted murderer. And he is the attaché to Richard Frederick in the Prime Minister's office as we speak today. Today. So when Richard Frederick goes on his shows and talk about Shine, and we bring Shine, and Shine is a convicted criminal, but you have a convicted murderer as your attaché right next to you, and you want to talk about Shine? Andrew, the hypocrisy of these people, It's the hypocrisy of these people for me. So y'all want to say Martinez is a criminal and a fraud, fine. But y'all have them all around y'all. Y'all have them all around y'all and it's not a problem. But when it suits y'all want to damage somebody else's reputation. Nonsense. Nonsense. But anyway, let's go. Mr. Martinez claims that he has audio recordings of McLeod saying that it is not him making the decisions and it is Ernest Hilaire, and that Hilaire knows about the scam or the underselling of our passport. Now, that's what he said. He said it twice. He said it in both interviews. And the man was very clever to say, I recorded all the conversations. Did you hear that, Rondre?
Yeah.
So the man is not going to come out and say something. And he said, I have the evidence of Mr. McLeod when he came to DC. I recorded the meetings. All right? So he says he has the recordings. Mr. Martinez claimed that McLeod Emmanuel came to DC to meet him. McLeod Emmanuel, in his statement, says, yes, I met with him, but it was to defend the reputation of the CIP, and it was not about me. Andre, you're the CEO of CIP. You went to meet with Mr. Martinez to defend the reputation of CIP, and you didn't bring one board member with you? You didn't bring one officer from the CIP unit with you? You didn't walk with nothing? You understand? Who did you go to? You went with your wife, but you went to defend the reputation of CIP?
And wouldn't his superiors be aware that he was...
Let's ask the question. Mr. Emmanuel must answer the question. Why did you not take a lawyer with you or a member of the board? And what was so urgent that you spoke to Martinez via Zoom on Wednesday? Let's look at the timeline, Andre. Martinez said that he and Mr. McLeod had a meeting via Zoom on Wednesday. On a Wednesday. By the Thursday, McLeod, that meeting was so interesting or shook McLeod so much that by Thursday, he took a flight to New York. And then on Friday morning, Martinez said when he came to DC to his office to do something, he got a call to say that Mr. McLeod was coming to see him at 10 o'clock in the morning. So, you telling me that it was nothing? Andre, I mean, Saint Lucia, écoutez ça. Ou parle quand on mercredi, ou te Saint Lucia, ou parle puis mercredi en les fona. Les jeudi point ou pour un flight pour New York et bon vendredi ou arrivé office nom là. La panier bay là, la panier bay qui te ka concerné ou da ki ou teni pour monter aiwe nom là. You don't think so? But I listened to Ernest Hilaire last night, Andre, and I laughed. So Ernest Hilaire is claiming that Mr. Emmanuel went there because Mark Mirage, who's the lawyer for Alan Chasney, told him to go there, and that Mark is Alan's lawyer, so it is a complot between Alan, UWP, and Martinez to bring him down. That's what he was trying to say, you know. So it is Mark Mirage, Alan Chasney, and Philip Martinez that is trying to break me down, that is trying to bring me down. It's a complot they make. So it's Mark Mirage. So let me say, as Saint Lucia, let me ask you a question. Mr. Emmanuel is the CEO of CIP. That's not any pash position. Huh? He's the CEO of CIP. Everybody in Saint Lucia knows that Mark Mirage is Alan Chasney's lawyer. Tout moun sav sa. Tout chien, tout chat sav sa. McLeod Emmanuel don't know that? Alright. So, Mark Mirage call you if that is the case. Right? After that call, you didn't find it strange to say, but why would Mark, who's Alan's lawyer, call me and tell me to meet with the gentleman? You didn't call Thaddeus Antoine, who's the lawyer. You didn't call Lon Theophilus, who's the chairman of the board of CIP, and he's a lawyer. You didn't call Ernest Hilaire, who's the minister responsible for CIP. You didn't call Philip J. Pierre, who's the godfather for your children. Y'all are buddies because I think that's how you got the job anyway. You didn't call none of these people. You didn't call the attorney general. You didn't call a lawyer friend of yours to say, hey, something is confusing and is amiss. Why would Mark Mirage, who's Alan's lawyer, call me and tell me go and visit the man or talk to the man? What do you think I should do? You consulted with nobody. All right? Nobody. And you telling me you take a flight and you went to DC? Mr. Hilaire, like the people say, ma de ou manti yon, mais soit Saudi la, sa pa vwe. That makes no sense to anybody. So what we have now, Andre, is a case of Hilaire trying to clear himself, McLeod trying to clear himself, and they are just throwing each other under the bus because Martinez says he has recordings. So everybody is panicking. St. Lucia, somebody is lying. Between McLeod and Ernest Hilaire, one of them is not speaking the truth, and I don't know if both of them are not speaking the truth.
But let me ask you, why would Mr. Chasney's lawyer call up the CEO?
You understand?
Why would he do something like that?
Why? But that is the plot. The plot is because remember, Ernest Hilaire is trying to tie Alan Chasney to what is happening there. Let me tell you all something, St. Lucia. See, Alan Chasney has not been in government for the last 3 years. Alan Chasney has nothing to do with CIP. Alan Chasney does not sell CIP. Alan Chasney has nobody in the CIP unit who reports to him, gives him information, nothing. Alan Chasney has no idea where none of these things come from. Alan Chasney did not cook up story. Alan Chasney frankly couldn't give a hoots about Ernest Hilaire and CIP. All we are concerned about as thinking St. Lucians is the reputation of St. Lucia and what and why our CIP and our passport is being used to bring down the reputation of St. Lucia. All right? So the complot is Alan Chasney. So that's why he's bringing in Alan's lawyer and it's Alan and Martinez that come together to covering this plot. What does that have to do with Alan? And you, the minister.
And also, how did the minister with responsibility for the CIP know that Mr. Mirage
spoke to McLeod? So apparently,
how did he know that?
Now that, let me tell you something. You see, when you say one lie, Andre, you have to tell another lie to cover up that lie and another lie to cover up that lie. So Martinez says that, and I want you to listen to that, St. Lucians. Before McLeod went to DC to meet with Martinez, Ernest Hilaire was named as a co-conspirator in the case. So Ernest Hilaire was not a defendant. He didn't have to go to court or anything. He was just named in the case. McLeod was a co-defender. So McLeod would have to go to court and answer his name. After the meeting between Martinez and McLeod, Martinez changed the case and he now named Ernest Hilaire as a co-defendant also. So you're telling me that Martinez did not get information from McLeod that allowed or caused him to change the case to make Hilaire a co-defendant? So that is what that transpired. So because that transpired, now McLeod is looking for an excuse as to why he went. And so he's saying, well, I didn't go of my own free will. It was Mac Mirage that forced me to go up there. You is a child. Ou santi mamay. Ou pa akopwan. Ou pa konet right ek wrong. Ou pa nan fon pou kouye pièce on ek mande pièce l'explication. So Mac Mirage just do ale ko just ale. And we believe that nonsense, St. Lucia?
So will Mr. Mirage just ignore
I
this?
hope so.
Will he just ignore
I hope so. I hope so. If you're listening, Mark, or any of your friends or people are listening, I hope you come out and defend your name. Because Ernest Hilaire can be calling somebody's name and making those type of assertions on national television. I hope so. All right? But I think that McLeod was in a hurry to clear himself, so he threw Hilaire under the bus. That's my interpretation. Because you can't tell me you're the CEO of CIP and you don't know, you can't go and meet with Martinez. And everybody's talking about that, Andre. I mean, I listened to a talk show yesterday, Timothy's show, Newspin, and even last night. Everybody is saying, even a lawyer called and said, but I don't understand how as a CEO at that level that you would not know that you cannot meet with somebody. Andre, you take me to court. That's what it is, St. Lucia. Andre has taken me to court for defamation. He said I said something on his radio station I should not say, and he took me to court. And so Tom is calling me and saying to me, Nancy, you need to go and meet with Andre Boy to sort out this issue. And the court, the thing has been filed and whatever. And you mean to tell me I am going to go and meet with Andre and not call my lawyer and say, you know what, I think I should go and meet with Andre, and for my lawyer to say yes or no, or say I'm coming with you, or call somebody to say I go in and meet with Andre and I don't want it to be a he say, she say, I need a witness, come with me or something. None of that. You're a CEO and you didn't even think of that? Boy, I have, eh? And a lot of people are questioning now whether this gentleman is qualified to be the CEO of CIP, because this shows critical lack of judgment.
But also, if
lack of judgment.
Mr. Mirage chooses to ignore this, the public will believe that maybe he was involved.
Well, I'm saying again, I'm not Mr. Marage's lawyer. Mr. Marage is a lawyer, so he knows more than I do that he needs to come out and clear his name. I'm telling you, he needs to come out and clear his name. But in any event, Saint Lucia, I don't buy that. All right? And I don't think any right thinking, any smart thinking, anybody who can deduce and think for themselves can buy that. Because nobody can force you to do that. Even if Andre, that Mr. Marage may have called you, all I'm saying is, Mr. Marage is Alan Chasney's lawyer. You didn't run that information by nobody. Because even Claudius Francis posted about it. I hope you saw the post.
No, I haven't seen it.
Yeah, man, I have it. Let me see if I can get it for you very quickly. Even Claudius Francis put out a post with reference to McLeod Emmanuel. Let me just see if I get it on my phone for you very quickly. Yes. Claudius Francis said, I am, however, bothered by the revelation that the CIP CEO met with the main antagonist. I can think of no good reason why he did this, especially if, as is being rumored, the trip was not sanctioned by the powers that be. Because apparently everybody is saying the Prime Minister didn't know, Hilaire didn't know, nobody knew. All right? But that is for the CEO to explain. Let it also be placed on record that his attempt, that is the CEO's attempt, at explanation thus far falls short. Very short.
And that was
from Claudius Francis on social media. He posted that. And then he did another longer one to say that, he stands with Ernest Hilaire and he can vouch for his integrity, etc., etc., etc. Andre, another thing last night that came out was Hilaire's excuse. Hilaire said, I want to set the record by saying, I don't know the man and I don't want to get involved.
The man meaning Martinez?
Martinez. Does this sound familiar to you, Andre? It doesn't?
No.
Okay. Do you remember the Walid Jufali divorce case with his wife? And Walid Jufali had diplomatic immunity. And when it was asked of the St. Lucia government to relieve that diplomatic immunity to allow for the prosecution in the UK court, and wasn't it the same thing? We don't want to get involved. You remember that? It is the same Ernest Hilaire. The same Ernest Hilaire. He said that this was a personal matter between Walid Jufali and his wife, and we did not want to get involved. And that is the reason he gave, and they gave, and Kenny Anthony and them gave at the time, for not removing the diplomatic immunity. You remember that now? Only to find out that Jufali was given the post of IMO diplomat so that he could have gotten diplomatic immunity in his wife's divorce case. You understand? And Hilaire knew very well what he was doing because he was the one. Can you imagine? Do you remember that, Andre? Ernest Hilaire was the one who applied for the diplomatic passport for Jufali, his daughter, and other members of his team. And when they asked him whether Jufali has a diplomatic passport, he said, I don't know. Mate, I don't know. And then we found out that there was an account that was open. It was called an IMO account. And I think about £60,000. So that's over $100 and something thousand or $200,000 was put into that IMO account, that only the signatories or the people who signed on that account was Walid Jufali and Ernest Hilaire. He said it's not a joint account. He never had a joint account. Now, I don't know what's the definition of a joint account. I think that matter is in court anyway. But we can state for a fact that there was an account open. It was called the IMO account, and Mr. Hilaire was a signatory, and Mr. Jufali was a signatory to that account. And we also have Auditor General reports to show that checks were written from that same account to Mr. Ernest Hilaire personally, but there were no stubs to say what it was for. It was just said refund, but we don't know what the refund was for. That same IMO account. So it's the same story with Ernest Hilaire every time, Andre. It's a cover-up. I mean, St. Lucia, can you imagine? This man has been embroiled in so many stories. I will not even go into Rovergate. I need to do an entire show on that. so you can get to appreciate it. But when it's not Jufali, it's Range Rover, tax evasion. When it's not that, it's West Indies Cricket Board. Now it is CIP. Now it is Red International. There's allegations about artisan payment, all kinds of things. And you hear in the name of the minister, there's one constant factor. Ernest Hilaire. But Zokaitan. Mr. Hilaire, Mr. Emmanuel, claimed that he never implicated Hilaire. However, which is why I ask again, why did Mr. Martinez change his case? Something had to have been said to this. Now, I want to ask a question, Saint Lucia. Now that both Ernest Hilaire and McLeod Emmanuel are co-defendants in this case, I want to ask a question. Who's paying the lawyer for Mr. McLeod Emmanuel? And who's going to pay the lawyer's fees for Ernest Hilaire? So it's our money that we have to use to pay for those lawyers again. Because remember, they are not being co-defendants in their own personal capacity. They are co-defendants as the CEO of CIP, which is a St. Lucian project, and Mr. Hilaire is the minister responsible for CIP, so he's a government minister. So you'll tell me that we have to take our money to pay lawyers' fees for them again.
Just go back a second so I can understand something. So, Mr. Emmanuel, I'm traveling to meet Mr. Martinez, right? Was it for the same thing that he keeps saying, come and see the information that I have, or he went for
that would
another
have
reason?
passed. Mr. Martinez said that would have passed. No, it wasn't that anymore. Because he said when he told them, listen, I've unearthed all this information. You can come to Washington, D.C. to come and see in the information. Philip J. Pierre called him a fraudster in Parliament. Ernest Hilaire said, we don't have no time for this man. We don't have no case, so we don't know, we don't care, etc. Then the gentleman went ahead and filed his case and his lawsuit. So now that he has filed the lawsuit, he can't show them the evidence anymore. The evidence is now in the courts.
Okay.
So that is why we are saying again, if you could not see the evidence anymore, what is it that Martinez told McLeod that he has that caught McLeod so concerned that within a conversation on Wednesday, McLeod was so scared, because that's what Martinez said. He was so scared based on the information that I have. That's what he said. I have recordings and information. McLeod was so scared that by Friday, McLeod found himself in Washington, D.C., in Martinez's office. What was that information? Everybody wants to know. I'm curious. Martinez says he's not going to say, but I'm very curious. And Jen, you asked a very good question. What? Why? Why did you feel the need that you had to run up there to say it wasn't me, it was Ernest Hilaire? It's the Shaggy song, it wasn't me.
Yeah, and also acting on what advice or a directive from Mr. Chasney's lawyer.
I mean, come on. Come on.
That's why I say this thing is so complicated. I don't even understand it.
Andre, Mr. Martinez claimed that St. Lucia and Galaxy is underselling our passport. I listened to the address from Ernest Hilaire at least twice last night. Ernest Hilaire never denied. He never denied that our passports are being undersold. And in fact, what he said, he confirmed that the passports were being undersold. So, St. Lucia, if you go back and listen to Ernest Hilaire's address, at 12 minutes, I noted the time because I wanted you to go and listen it for yourself. Because everything I say is, it's not me. At 12 minutes, 21 seconds, Ernest Hilaire said that when it was brought to our attention that promoters and marketers were marketing our passport at the underprice or at the reduced price, he said that, not me. So, Andre, let's talk about it. My glass is $1. I told you that the glass is $1. Why would you go and create an ad and post all over the place that you, Andre, are selling the glass for 50 cents? Why? St. Lucians, I want y'all to think, because you see, when these people speak, they're trying to use language and words that think people not thinking on the surface it sound. You said, Mr. Hilaire, that it was brought to your attention that marketers and promoters were promoting our CIP passport at a reduced price. When it was brought to your attention, why do you think these people were so brazen and bold enough? They know the passport is 100,000. Why were they promoting it at 60 and 50,000? Why would they do that, Andre? If they know it was wrong and if they know it was illegal, you think they would ever do that? Think for yourself. You think they would do that?
Maybe.
St. Lucia, ask yourself.
Maybe.
But if they knew that they were doing that so publicly, it's because they knew there would be no repercussions. It's because they knew there would be no repercussions, St. Lucia. So, hear what Mr. Ernest Hilaire said. Mr. Hilaire said, when it was brought to our attention, you know what he said he did, Andre? We sent a memo to them and press releases. So you have evidence that somebody is underselling your passport. They are marketing it at a reduced price, which is not the legal price. And you send a memo? So the marketers are so bold to advertise the sale of your passport at below price. And you send a memo, Andre? Why you didn't fire them? Why didn't you terminate this promoter and say, listen, this is wrong, this is illegal, and you terminated from my program? You bringing down the reputation of my program. You send a memo? Why you didn't fine them? Why didn't you make them pay a fine and say, this is wrong, this is illegal, you cannot market our product at below the price, so I'm going to fine you $10,000 or whatever? You send a memo? I don't understand that. So, what about the integrity of the program? You didn't care about that, Andre? I mean, you had to send a strong statement. You had to make a strong statement to these people to say that this cannot continue. You are terminated. You are fired. You are being fined. You telling me you send a memo. Nonsense. And you telling me you care about the integrity of the program?
Did he say what was included in the memo?
Apparently, he sent them a memo and said, dear promoters, please note that our passport is $100,000 and discontinue promoting it at $60,000. That's what a memo would say. Isn't that what a memo would say? I mean, this is so crazy. I mean, anyway, Andre, this is so crazy. So, essentially, you realize that what Ernest Hilaire said last night when he said, when it was brought to our attention that marketers and promoters were promoting our passport at below the price, do you realize what he did was to substantiate the claim by Martinez that our passports are being sold on the price? Do you realize that's what he did? Because Martinez is claiming that I have evidence that your passport is being sold at below the price. Ernest Hilaire is also confirming last night in the address that it was brought to my attention that marketers and promoters were promoting our passport at below the price, and I sent them a memo. So St. Lucia add 1 + 1. So Ernest knew very well. That's why he sent the memo. So Martinez was right. The passports are being sold or were being sold at underprice. And Ernest Hilaire confirmed that in his speech. But what he didn't confirm, Andre, and what I want him to confirm today, is how many passports was allocated under the real estate option. And St. Lucia, I want you to understand the terminology very carefully. When a developer comes, Andre, and says, I want to build a hotel, the hotel is going to cost me $343 million. You'll do a rough calculation and you will give them an allocation. It's just like the budget, St. Lucia. You allocate an amount of money. So you'll tell him, okay, well, I will allocate 3,000 passports to you, so you can go and try and sell 3,000. That's your allocation. That's your quota, if you want to call it that. If you don't understand allocation, your quota. A quota was given. What was the quota that was given to Galaxy by this administration? All right? We want to understand that. Because Ernest Hilaire was very technical with the truth. And that's why these people just lie in your face, Andre. What he said is that they have approved 1,367 applications. That's what has been approved. But he never told us how many was allocated, how many is still pending. You understand that, Andre? So if you allocated 2,000, that's his quota, you gave him 2,000. He may very well, because he said that the thing has closed, they've sold all the allocation. So he may very well have sold 2,000 already. He may have given you 2,000 application, but it's just that, because remember the applications have to be processed. So maybe only 1,367 has been approved, but the balance are still pending approval. We want to know, Mr. Hilaire, how many passports were allocated, or what was the quota that was given? You claim that 1,367 has been approved. Is there a balance pending approval? And if there is, what is that balance? That is important, Andrew. Critical. Because people have to understand that. If you allocate 100 to me, and my quota is 100, I may have sent in my whole 100, but out of the 100, only 50 has been approved so far. So I still have a balance of 50 outstanding. Isn't that right?
Yes, but yeah. I'm still a little confused. Let me ask a question. If, as you said, a developer wants to start some kind of project in Saint Lucia, whether it's a hotel or whatever, right? It's part of the CIP, the other option that you mentioned, right?
Right.
Okay. Is it automatic that once this developer, it's a done deal, everything is signed, ready to go, why do we have to now give passports to this person to sell for us? Is that automatic?
I didn't understand the question.
Because you said a while ago, this developer came and made an application to build a hotel or whatever, right? Okay. And then you also said that passports were given to this person.
Yeah, well, allocation.
Allocation.
An allocation of passport is given to him to sell, because that's why he makes the money. Remember, I said that. The money for the hotel doesn't come from the developer. The money from the hotel comes from the sale of the passports.
Really?
Yes, Andre. They don't come with any money. The developer comes, so Galaxy came, hands open, no money, and say, I want to build a hotel. But in order to build a hotel, I need money. And the way to make the money is for me to sell your passport. So the money, when I sell the passport, the money that I make, I will take that money and build the hotel. So it's our passport money that is building the hotel. I told you that the last time. That's why I said the money is ours.
So let me ask you, as a party / eventually maybe government,
right?
Do you all support that sort of thing?
But that's what it was. That's what it is. That's what the real estate option is.
I better go and build a hotel.
Yes, my boy. You need to apply.
Sell some passports.
Become a developer. Yes.
Simple. Simple.
Yes. Well, there's due diligence that has to be. You have to have a plan.
I'm clean.
You have to have a plan, and there's the other things that are involved.
But
essentially, that is why, Andre, we continue to say that the sale of St. Lucian passport, whatever money that any developer makes from it, whilst you may say because the developer went out and do the sales, etc., that it's his money, it's our money because it's our passport he's selling to make the money.
Yes, but he's making the money for him to develop a project that he doesn't have.
Yes.
Why would we? This sounds so strange to me.
Well, what it is, Andre, as well, the benefits to you as a country, there are benefits, because, for example, when he builds the hotel stays here. You can't take the hotel and go.
Yeah, but we have one in Prale that's by the side of the road there, nothing happening.
I agree, that's a different thing. But the hotel creates employment, for example.
Hopefully.
So during construction, they buy the materials. Well, it's not going to be like NH say they bring in everything from Trinidad. But hopefully during construction, your construction industry will boom. People will get employed. It will create jobs, etc. When the hotel is up and running, then it creates another type of employment in the industry. So it's not entirely a bad thing because the property is built here, it remains here, it creates jobs, it creates employment. What is bad or tricky about this thing is the monitoring of the money and ensuring that the money is used to do what it is supposed to.
Well, I have a good question.
That's where the critical issue is.
So what if the development goes belly up? even before it opens.
Well, it's a risk. I suppose it's a risk.
So it's a risk that I guess our government takes.
We'll have
basically.
to take. Yes.
So this person is under no obligation to repay whatever money.
I don't think so. I am not sure. I can't answer that one. I'm not sure, but I don't think so. But Andre, let's continue. So, Mr. Hilaire, I have some numbers and some calculations, folks. So I want you to pay a little bit of attention to me. So this one is a little bit tricky. Mr. Hilaire said that they have approved 1,367 passports. I want you to remember that number. 1,367 applications, sorry. Not passport, I have to correct myself. Applications. Now, I'm correcting myself because I also want you to understand the distinction. An application, and the last time Leader of Opposition was there, I think he explained it to us. I just want to remind you. An application or a file does not necessarily mean it's one passport. Because an application, I can make an application and there is what you call your dependents. I can make an application and tie in my dependents to that application. So one application can mean that I am applying for 4 passports. And let me explain how that works. I can apply, Nancy Charles, I am married. I have my husband and I have 4 children, right? Let's just say I had 2 children, but I have 4 children. I can apply on the Citizen by Investment Project to apply for the St. Lucian passport. And when I send in my application would be inclusive of me, Nancy Charles, that's 1. Alexander Charles, my husband, that's 2. David Charles, my son. Daniel Charles. Hannah Charles. Jonathan Charles. These are for my 4 children. So one application can resound in 4 or 5 or 6 passports being issued. Do you understand that, Andre? So I want you to understand, St. Lucia, that when he said, because he was careful with his words, he said that they have approved 1,367 applications. He did not say passport, St. Lucia. He did not say passport. He said we have approved 1,367 applications. That can mean from the 1,367 applications, if each file is times 2, let's say a husband and a wife, do you know that this is now over 2,000 passports for the 1,367 applications? So you see where these politicians are coming in, Andre, and using words and terminology that when you don't understand, they tell you, but I didn't lie. So Ernest Hilaire may very well have not lied. I don't know. But I don't believe anything he says, St. Lucia, so I don't believe him. I don't trust him. But let's just say he didn't lie and said it was 1,367 applications. How many passports is that? Because how many applicants were in each file? Was it just a husband and wife? Did we have husband, wife, and 2 children? Did we have husband, wife, and mother? Because you can add in your dependents. You understand?
So you can do that.
Yeah. When you apply,
so
you can apply for yourself, your wife, your children, or a mother who's a dependent or something like that.
It's not automatic that it will be approved, right?
No, there's a process. There's a process.
Because, for example, say you.
But once that application has been approved, if I apply and I apply for me and my spouse, and you don't approve my application, then it would not be part of those that have been approved. My application would be rejected, so it won't go through.
Right,
but you will not approve me and reject my wife.
Or if you have a sheikh from some Arab country telling you he has 36 children, 10 wives, 36 children.
Well, that's pushing it, but yes, that's true. So then one application can be 36 passports. Okay, all right, okay. But I hope you understand in that, St. Lucia. I just broke it down so you understand that one application does not mean one passport.
Understood.
It may mean 3, 4 passports. Understood. Because an application is a file, and in each application it can be the applicant plus their dependents, whether it be their wife, their children, or whoever it is. All right?
So, now, sorry, excuse my ignorance. So say, for example, one family, or an applicant has, as you said, 5 members in the family, right? And each gets a passport. So each of them, is there one lump sum, like, okay, the $200,000, that's it, or
no?
Okay.
So the breakdown is the applicant, the main person who's applying, pays $100,000 for their passport. Their spouse pays 35,000, and each dependent, each child is 25,000.
Okay, I got that.
So if I am applying for me, my husband, and one child, it will be $100,000 for me, $35,000 for my wife, and $25,000 for my child.
That's USM, by the way.
All of that is US.
Okay.
Understood? So yes, it is broken down like the main person pays 100, and Saint Lucia, all that information I'm giving you there, you can go on the CIP website, the CIP Saint Lucia website. Just Google it, CIP Saint Lucia. Go on the website and you will see all that information there. That's not things I'm making up. I'm not brighter than anybody. I just went on to my research. I just went on the website. I confirmed it against last night. It's right there on the website. You can get all that information. How much for a spouse, how much for a child, how much for the real estate option, etc. And that's why we have an issue with the infrastructure, you know, Andre. Real estate is there. Donation is there. Bonds is there. There's nothing on the infrastructure project there. I wonder why. But I don't want to go there yet. And it's 10:20, St. Lucia, so I need to take a few calls. So let me do this quickly. I just want to give you some calculations. So if at the end of the day, the application is 1,367, and I'm not even going to 2, Andre. I'm not going into 2. If it's only 1,367 and it's by each application is one person at the 2, because the real estate option is 200,000. The donation is 100, real estate is 200. And I want you to remember that as well, St. Lucia. When Ernest Hilaire come out and say Alan Chasney, he needs to tell you all that under the real estate option, under Alan Chasney government, it was $300,000. So when we signed the agreement with Galaxy, the agreement was for $300,000 per applicant. All right? First course of business when Ernest Hilaire came into office, the first change they made to CIP, they met with Galaxy in November, and by February of the following year, they changed the 300,000 to 200,000. So they were the ones who reduced the real estate from 300 where Alan had put it, and they brought it down to 200,000. Tell them to come out and say that. The memo is there, the facts are there. Everybody can see for themselves.
And I think you said the last time, this makes them more competitive. Right?
That's what he said.
Right? Mm-hmm.
Now, you know, but he's not saying that at all. He will not come out and tell you that. But he was the one who reduced it. All right? So, 1,367 applications just by one individual, Andre. I'm not tying a spouse to it. I'm not tying a child to it. We just suppose, St. Lucia, that each application is one individual at the $200,000. Do you know how much money that is so far? $738.1 million that Galaxy has collected. Andre, that's not a 5-star hotel, and these people have to bill for $738 million. It's a 10-star hotel, eh? And we can't wait because apparently they've collected all the money. That's what we were told. You understand? They've collected all the money. But let's just suppose, Andre, that each application is one applicant at the 200 and one spouse. I'm not going too far. One spouse. If it's one application and one spouse, and we know for a fact most of the applications are for 2. You understand? Very few people apply for the passport for just themselves. More of these people have a spouse or a child or whatever, a wife, husband or whatever. Very few. So let's say if each of these 1,367 applications is one main person plus a spouse, and remember I told you the spouse is 45,000. If you add the spouse to this, the total revenue collected so far would be $927.1 million. So that's close to $1 billion that Galaxy is collecting or has collected under our passport to build one hotel. One hotel, Andre. So you see what this scam is, this thing is? Because I can certainly guarantee you, when you have $920-something million in an account and you say you're building a hotel and you withdraw money for that and that, who's going to check if you take a few $100,000 to buy a car? So who's going to check if you take a few $1,000s to do a trip there and to buy a shoe and to do who's going to check that?
So there's no oversight of that aspect of
but
the.
But they say that's what the minister said. There's an escrow account and they check it monthly. But I don't know. He never gave any explanation as to ensuring that the drawdown versus construction is on par. That if they tell you they're building that with the money that they've built, that he never gave us that. And these are the questions that we have. You cannot allow somebody $900 million, close to $1 billion to build. Andre, where in the world have you heard of a hotel being constructed at a cost of $1 billion?
And not just that alone, Nancy. I'm saying, going back to the point I was making earlier, out of all that money, basically, we don't get anything from it except when the project is finished that we have people who are employed. What kind of arrangement is that? So much money, and I mean, we could do with half of that money. Imagine what we can do for the economy.
Andre, that's what I want Saint Lucia. And when Saint Lucia,
if you want to win the next election, you have to go and take a real look at this thing.
Say to me, Andre, when people say to me, why should I care? This is why you should care. Because this is $1 billion that could be injected in our budget. Do you know how much money we borrow in every year? Do you know the Labour Party has borrowed over almost $1 billion in the 3 years that they've been in office? Last year alone, they borrowed almost $400 million. Isn't that money that we could have used to finance our hospital? We don't have bed sheets, Andre. There's no toilet paper. There's no medication in the pharmacies in St. Lucia. We have St. Jude's there languishing. We took a loan of $200 million. These are our money, St. Lucia. And that's why I keep asking Ernest Hilaire, where is our money? Where is it? We heard Martinez said that you were allocated 6,000 passports for the real estate option. You were allocated that. You were given that as a quota. You are saying so far you've only processed or approved 1,300. What about the balance? Where is the balance and where's the money for it? That is why we say that there's over $1.8 billion, and we want to know where it is, because, Andre, somebody in that CIP office is not telling the truth. I don't think Ernest Hilaire is being truthful with St. Lucians. So, Mr. Hilaire, you need to tell us the number of applications. We want to know the number of passports that has sold. What is it that Galaxy has collected in total? How much money has Galaxy collected on the name of St. Lucians for that project? That's all.
Okay.
Come out and say Galaxy has sold 10,000 passports, and so far in the escrow account they've collected $10 million, $100 million. We want to know. That's what we want to know. Don't come and skirt around the truth. That's our money, Andre. Don't you agree with me, Andre, that St. Lucians need to know how much money has Galaxy collected so far in total for the real estate option? How much money?
Yes, I agree.
We want to know.
Yes, but in addition to that, Ms. Charles, maybe you can tell us how under this arrangement do we really benefit? You said employment, yes, and that's it.
Construction, employment,
yes.
The hotel stays there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that is it. Taxes, I suppose they pay taxes eventually, but that's how you generate income in your economy, Andre, as well.
Yeah, I understand
so,
that.
Because you need things like that. You need businesses and investments to
yes,
come into.
I understand that.
Right.
But why don't these people come with their own money? Why do they have to sell our passports to make the money?
That is what the program is about.
But
the program is about giving you the option to use the passports, to sell the passports to potential persons so that you can use the money for the investment. So technically the money is not your personal money. St. Lucia is giving you an opportunity to generate revenue so that you can build something that benefits the country. In a nutshell. All right? So we will open the lines because it's 10:28. I still have a lot more to go. But St. Lucia, I think I ought to let you know that the leader of the opposition will be responding to Ernest Hilaire for sure. So look out for his response tonight. We'll give you some more information as we confirm it.
His lawyer response as well.
Yes. But the leader of the opposition will be responding because Alan Chasney will not allow or tolerate Ernest Hilaire to come on national television, spew out all those lies and nonsense and skirting around issues and make it seem like it's Alan Chasney, and Alan Chasney not respond. So, Andre, give the numbers. I know you have a call, but give the numbers so persons can call. And I have a few questions, Andre, people sent to me as well. Even before the show, whilst Hilaire was speaking, I got a few questions that person sent. I want to read out some of those questions and perhaps answer some of those questions as well.
Let's take
what's
calls.
The number?
Let me just give the number. The fixed line is 572-9710, 572-9710. Or the WhatsApp number is 287-0971. WhatsApp is 287-0971. But we have a call on the fixed line.
Oh, sorry.
Hello there. Good morning.
Hello, good morning, Andre. Good morning to Miss Charles.
How are you, sir?
Good morning.
I'm doing very, very well.
All right.
Andre, I'm kind of in the same boat with you there with regard to this. Well, I'm listening to this, Andre. To me, this CIP is not very far off from GPH, that GPH deal.
It's the same, caller. It's one and the same. It's just different
but
characters.
That's what I'm telling you
different characters.
Okay, Ms. Charles, let me just ask you one question. Yeah, I hope you may be able to answer. So let us assume with the figures you gave, right? 900 million has been collected, okay?
Okay.
To build that hotel. Let us be modest and say that the hotel cost 300 million. That's a fair assumption. You want to build a 5-star hotel?
Well, the initial costing, you are not far off because when Galaxy made the proposal in 2018 to the then government of St. Lucia, they said that the hotel was going to cost $343 million to
Very well. Let's just say 350.
So you're not far off.
Let's just say 350 then, to make the figures nice.
350.
So, which means you have 450 million left.
Yes.
So what happens to that 450 million?
We'll have to ask Ernest Hilaire that question.
No. I'm talking about for the CIP. I want to ask Ernest. I'm just talking about according to the rules. What happens now to that extra money?
Well, as far as I'm aware, that there was not supposed to be any extra money, caller. You came with your project proposal. You said this is how much is going to cost. An allocation would be given to you, or a quota would be given to you, because let's say if it's $300 million, we calculate, you divide that by 200,000 and you say, you will need to sell 1,500 passports to make the money. I mean, give or take a little, of course. You can't be exact. But not 400 million extra. Give a little and we say, your allocation is 2,000 passports. Times the 300, you should be able to make 370 million. So you're comfortable that you can construct. There was never supposed to be extra. So I don't know what happened to the extra. And we need to ask that question as well. What happens to the extra money?
I'm a little better now. I'm a little better now, Andre. I hope you're a little better. But so far, Nancy, what I'm hearing is that 1,000, whatever they call it, packages have been given.
Applications.
So based on what you're saying there, we are in the region of some $800 to $900 million, which is way above the cost of the proposed hotel.
Yes, sir.
So we want to know, I don't want to know about the 350, because the 350 is for the hotel. I want to know, like Mr. Martinez said, about my money. What about my money? My $450 extra million, which could have built the entire St. Jude Hospital and the airport.
So, caller, before you go, let me ask you very quickly. Were you not expecting, because Martinez was very clear about the allocation and the money, were you not expecting Mr. Hilaire to at least come out and clear the air about the money, how much money has been collected, how much money is in the escrow account, at what stage is the construction of the hotel, and give us that? Were you not expecting that?
For somebody that had his prime minister and the Speaker of the House in a courtroom that he was a defendant, I expect nothing from Mr. Hilaire.
Okay. All right. I understand, caller. Thank you. Thank you very much, caller.
Okay, caller. Thank you. Have a good day. We have another call on the WhatsApp platform.
Good morning. Good morning, caller. Thank you for calling Midday Opposition. Caller, before you even speak, please tell me that I was very clear in my explanation, because I'm looking at the live, and that you have understood thus far, the information that I have given.
Yes, Nancy, I have understood. Morning, Nancy. Morning, Andre.
Morning.
But my take on this CBI, CIP thing is that we should not be selling our passports. No politician should have the right to sell our passports. We need to, I've expressed this before and I'll keep saying it, especially what you said that Andrew was querying. I mean, this is ridiculous. This whole part of it, this good thing. And my main reason is because I see CIP, this selling of passports, as how will I put this, an avenue for a lot of corruption. And this is why this mess is going on now. You understand? And I think that I wish that the next, if Mr. Chasney wins the next election, that he would cut off that, just leave it, cut it off that CIP thing completely. He's a man with vision. Let him get other avenues to bring in revenue to the island instead of this CIP. This CIP is corruption. Look at what what's happening with our reputation. This is all over the world,
All over.
It is all over the world.
And
Why are we
caller,
selling our passports?
Caller, let me say something to you as well. I was very surprised last night listening to Mr. Hilaire trying to make it seem as if it is Alan Chasney who is bringing down the reputation of Saint Lucia, and not acknowledging and recognizing it is his action and the action of the CIP unit of Saint Lucia and his inaction as well that is bringing down the reputation of Saint Lucia. I mean, this is all over the world, and you're making it seem as if it's Alan Chasney that's trying to bring down Saint Lucia. But you are the minister. The allegations are being made under your tenure, and you have said nothing that you are going to do to fix this. Absolutely nothing.
Well, I think one thing that could fix this, Mr. Chasney, I hope you're listening. You, Nancy, you can relate to him. I am sure you know my voice. I am a strong supporter of UWP. But you see this CIP thing, I think we better just write it off. When we win the next election, we look for other sources of revenue and just cut off that CIP.
This is
too much corruption, my darling.
Thank you.
Please,
Thank you, that.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Thank you.
But chances are, Andre, I don't know if there will be a CIP to inherit. But there's something. You have a call? There's something I wanted to bring to your attention very quickly as well. Go ahead.
What's the platform? Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Paul.
Morning to you, sir. How are you?
Yeah. Good morning, Nancy. My sister Nancy. Same name with my wife.
Do you know this caller, Andrew? Do I know him?
He says you have the same name with his wife.
Oh, I hope your wife is as lovely as I am, caller. I am a lovely person.
Okay. Now, I hear you say about those people have commit crime or ex-ex-bit. When we really check, that starts from Alan Chasney, Guy Joseph, and Dominic Fede. Because when Riani and Miguel Fevrier, Guy say, I will not talk to you because you are ex-convict. Mr. Alan Chasney say, I'm going to clear your record. Unless you don't clear your record, I will not talk to you. So it starts from you all. And from when Labour Party start talking about them kind of things, is when you all bring Mr. Shine as an ex-convict as well. And that's the time Labour Party.
So let's agree, caller. If, as you said, that Guy Joseph made that statement to Miguel and Alan made that statement to Riani, and in your opinion, it was wrong, it was not a good thing for them to do. Are you agreeing with that? Are you agreeing that it was wrong of both Alan Chasney and Guy Joseph to have spoken to them in that way and bring up their criminal record? Are you agreeing that it was wrong?
Yes, it was.
So if it was wrong for them to do that, how is it that you want to justify now for the Labour Party to bring up the past of these people, or of both Shine and thing? Why is it justified?
And let me tell you why. Because if you calling me a thief and you come back and say, oh, and you do the same thing like you criticize. So I have to bring it up to show you and to show the public.
But you talking about yourself there, caller, you implicating yourself because Labour Party called out UWP. Hold on. Labour Party called out UWP for the reputation for saying these words to Riani and to Miguel. And Labour say you shouldn't do that. Don't tell the fellas that, etc. But the same Labour Party now coming into government and doing the exact same thing. So how can you tell me I'm doing something that is wrong and you come into government and you're doing the same thing? You can't justify it, caller. You are putting yourself in a deeper hole now. Because what you're saying to me is that Alan Chasney do it, so it's okay for Labour Party to do it. That's what you're telling me there?
No, but like you, I hear you going back and say, oh, they do this.
I went back to show Saint Lucia the hypocrisy of the Labour Party. That while they're trying to bring out the reputation of Shine and say he's a criminal and bring out the reputation of Mr. Martinez, I brought it back to let you know these same people who have those same type of reputation are within the government of St. Lucia by the Labour Party. So don't call out somebody something when you have the same thing happening. But anyway, thank you, caller. We have other calls. Let's take another call.
No, I don't finish. I don't finish.
You have another issue?
Yeah.
What's it?
About the CIP. Mm-hmm. And who started the CIP program?
Kenny Anthony.
And and which government passports are selling?
On the UWP.
Okay, so thank you. That's my case.
Oh, okay. I don't know the question, but thank you so much, caller.
Thank you very much. We have another call, by the way.
Good morning, caller. Thank you for calling Meet the Opposition. The program is exciting this morning. So, how are you, caller?
Morning, Miss Nancy Charles. Morning, Miss Angela.
Morning to you, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Morning.
How are you doing?
I think I'm cool and calm for now.
Okay, very nice. Miss Nancy, I'm a young guy, right? And I've been watching the politics, the back and forth in politics. But I find, you know what I find? You see, for example, last night, Dr. Ernest Hilaire came with some stories. You come with I'm not saying what you're saying is not true, right? I will not disrespect you, go down that route and do that.
I understand, caller.
But then the other guy that want to take us to court, he came with a story. And what about the layman? We there now that don't know nothing about what's going on. Like they're just confusing us, you know.
So caller, here's what I've tried to do. Yeah. And I don't know if you'll take it at face value. What I have tried to do as much as possible over the last couple of months that I've been hosting this program. Of course, I'm a UNABP supporter. I'm affiliated with the United Workers' Party. I make no bones about that. But when I come on the program, I give you information that can be substantiated. And so far this morning, I stayed up all night preparing. I gave you information based on what Mr. Martinez said, based on what McLeod said, and based on what Ernest Hilaire said. I think you are smart and you are intelligent enough to add 1 + 1 and to come to your conclusion. There are certain conclusions I can give you, but there are certain conclusions that you have to make for yourself, caller. And that is what I'm trying to do with the program as well, to cause us to think critically. Don't just take my word for it. Sit down, analyze it, and think critically. That's what I want of you this morning.
Because, I mean, I'm being honest with you. I'm not that stupid. I mean, I know I went to school. I did well in school. And so I'm not that stupid. I'm just talking about the layman now that don't understand the difference. So, like, politicians after politicians just tricking us day by day, every day. That one coming with a story. That one coming with one. That one coming with documents. That one coming with documents.
Well, caller, let me tell the layman. If a layman... Hold on. If a layman is listening, let me tell him, that's not a story, huh? There's a court matter, caller. Okay? That one is not... No, I know, I understand, but I'm saying in this instance, what we're talking about, this one is not even a story. There is a matter filed in the court.
Yes,
so, it's in court now.
Yes, I do know, Mr. Charles, but what I'm saying, you know, every day is the same thing we hear over and over. Like, I think the government, whatever government, if the SLP don't want to do it, Alan Chasney or whoever come after supposed to pass a law that if you want to go up to politics and you come in and tarnish somebody's reputation and they have the fact that what you're saying is not true, they should just disqualify you. And if you're a minister and you're doing them things, lying to the public, they should even charge you and move you into that politics.
No, but there's a law. There's the laws for that already. Caller. It's called the defamation. There's laws against defamation. If you say something about somebody that's not true, that's why I'm very careful on the show when I say certain things, not to say things about people that you can take them to court, and there's a law for that. Yeah.
But if they have a law for that, then so many things still happening. Well, I don't want to see when that law was there.
And the problem with this is that everybody, you know, I don't have enough money for the number of people that even under the live now, they call me Nancy Volley. Now, do you think I have enough money to take all these people to court and that's going to languish 3, 4, 5 years? Because I need them to prove que ça me volé. But if you have to take every Tom, Dick and Harry to court for everything they say, it's a waste of your time. So sometimes people just don't do it.
Okay, caller.
Okay.
Thank you very
caller.
much.
Thank you for listening.
We have another call on the WhatsApp platform.
Okay. Good
Thanks
morning,
for holding.
caller.
Thanks
Thank
for
you for
holding.
calling Mid the Opposition.
Good morning. Good
Hello.
morning, Nancy.
Good morning.
Andre.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning. Nancy, very nice program once again. But the caller before the last asked you a question. He said under which administration they started selling the passports. And you said it was Alan Chasney?
Yes, we started selling when we came into office in 2016, no passports had already been sold. We were the first, our administration were the first ones to start actually selling the passport.
Nancy, but I bringing you back about 15 to 18 years ago. Wasn't it Ernest Hilaire who sold our passport to Wali Jafali?
Caller, Andre wants to be very careful for defamation. We cannot say that Hilaire sold our passport to Jufali. What we can say for a fact is that Wali Jufali was given diplomatic immunity. He got diplomatic passport for that. And what we can say for a fact is that monies were received into an account that the accountant general didn't know about, the government of Saint Lucia didn't know about, and that account, it was only Ernest Hilaire and Jufali who had access to that account. Now, if you want to add 1 + 1 and make it 2, that's up to you. But I cannot say that he sold the passport, but you can make your conclusions, but not on Andre's radio station.
Okay.
Andre don't have money to be paid lawyers.
All right, Nancy. But Nancy, again, I am telling you, 15 to 18 years ago, it was Timothy Polio who had Ernest Hilaire on his talk show.
Oh, yep, I remember.
Ernest Hilaire said that he did all that and St. Lucia was supposed to get a diabetic center.
Agreed, caller. I remember that as well.
Okay. So why is the diabetic center?
I don't know, caller.
Why was it St. Lucia who had to enter into Walid Jafali's life of having a divorce with his wife for St. Lucia to give that individual 4 passports to prevent his wife from getting her husband's belongings? Why?
And remember, caller, that we never knew about Walid Jufali. That's important until the matter of the divorce was in court and the request was made of St. Lucia to lift the immunity. That's when everybody heard about Jufali. Jufali te hani passport, Jufali te hani account, la te hani tout bay fait personne pas te savait about Jufali, même Ernest Hilaire ça.
Nancy, and it is so sad that case, it was on international news on the Arabic television station.
In the UK as well.
Right?
In the UK as well.
Yes. And today, that's foreigners and Nancy that is putting these things out. And today we have another foreigner checking for our people again, telling us what is happening. And St. Lucian still there sugarcoating and playing politics with something as dangerous as that, bringing our country's reputation in the mud. Nancy, it's about 18 to 15 or 20 years. That gentleman they call Ernest Hilaire, I'm not giving him no title. okay, have been dragging the reputation of Saint Lucia in the gutter. After we had the Wally Jafali case, we had the Rovergate scandal. Up to now, this gentleman cannot answer his name in a court by himself. It took Philip Pierre, Claudius Francis, and a whole entourage. They went into the courthouse with that matter where the gentleman, it was said that the gentleman defrauded the state of a bare $3,000. It goes again. They come back. They say they went to see justice is being served, protecting this man, and this man is representing us. St. Lucians need to wake up.
Yeah, it's very sad.
St. Lucians need to wake up. And then again, we went, Nancy, we heard Michael Holden, the cricket board scandal. We heard one of the cricketers brought Ernest Hilaire to court, and he never went into the courthouse to represent himself.
Well, there were many court cases, caller, and that was what happened with cricket, West Indies cricket.
Nancy, I saw one where he didn't go inside the court case with one of the cricketers, the ESPN or Sports Max. They challenged him on that. He never entered the court case, and he's trying to defend himself. And now we have that same Ernest Hilaire. We are hearing that Martinez is saying the man sell 52,000 passports in Nancy. That's half of our population.
St. Lucia, I'll tell you one thing.
And St. Lucians are there. Hold on, Nancy. And St. Lucians are there. Sugar coating and playing politics with an issue like that, a subject like that. St. Lucians supposed to be on the road causing Hilaire and Pierre to leave office. Because God has been showing us. You think Ernest Hilaire just end up there by chance, Nancy? God put that man there, allow him there for him to expose him. And St. Lucian, they're shilling Ernest Hilaire.
Anyway, caller, thank you.
Anyway, have a good day.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello. Good morning. Thank you for calling Meet the Opposition.
Hello, good morning.
Morning.
Oh boy, I have been waiting for so long. I can't wait to hear the opposition leader, his answer.
Response? Yes.
And I was waiting to
The
hear
leader of the opposition will respond.
You must be coming there for a headache. Anyway, Nancy, I have a few questions. Reason being, I didn't listen to Mr. Hilaire because I just knew what he was going to say anyway.
You knew it was going to be Alan Shastney.
I had a feeling of what he would have said.
Okay.
So I listened to a phone-in program on DBS last night, and one of the questions came up by Mr. Mondesi, and he was asking how many passports was DSH given to sell. I wondered why he brought that up, but I said anyway, I knew you would be able to explain that thing with DSH and passports, and I also want to know how many passports were sold during the time of the United Workers' Party's reign, as in comparison to the Labour Party's reign. Also, Nancy, I know you'll be able to answer me that, but I really want to know. The gentleman who is querying about the passports right now, and he's dealing with St. Kitts and so, I want to know what is his interest. I really want to know how did he find out about St. Lucia and so on. I want to really go down to the bottom of this because I smell a rat, and if there is a rat that has a scent, it's dead. So we need to find out what is going on, Nancy. Nancy, you've done a good job today. And I pray that you continue doing what you're doing because you're going through it with a little toothpick. So please help me to understand some of what some questions that I have. Though I support the United Workers' Party, but still you don't always just, take everything for granted. You need to ask questions. And these are the questions I'm asking, okay?
Thank you.
Have a good day. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you very much, caller.
Let's take a final call.
I really need... Okay,
Let's
we'll take a final call and
Yes.
then I'll answer the caller.
All right. Thanks for holding, caller.
Hi, good morning, Andrea. Good morning, Nancy.
Good morning.
Morning.
I tuned into the program a bit late, but since I tuned in, I think on more than one occasion, Nancy, I heard you repeat that 1,367 applications were approved.
That is according to Minister Hilaire's speech last night, eh?
Well, I need to correct you because I
Yes.
actually went back to listen to him.
Yes.
And his exact words were from July 2021
Yes.
to March 2024, 2,047 applications were approved, of which 1,367 was for the real estate located at the Galaxy.
Yes. You are correct.
Okay? So in actual fact, it's 2,047.
No. So you are correct, but in the context of Galaxy, 2,047 would be in total. So the difference would be those would be the donation component, but we are dealing with Galaxy. And that is why we're talking about the 1,367. So it's 1,367 that has been sold under the real estate option to Galaxy.
Yes, that's correct.
Right.
But I just wanted to say that the approved was 2,047. Now, he skirted around the figures, and he tried to generalize and was not being specific. And towards the end of his statement, he mentioned about an audit.
Yes.
And that's how the government is going to comply. But you do not need an audit to tell you how much money that you have collected.
And that is laughable, caller. Laughable. Because if you're telling me that we have to wait for an audit to be conducted for us to know how much money has been collected, how much money has been dispensed, how much money this and whatever, then we in deep doo-doo.
Exactly.
And Ernest is trying to fool Saint Lucia, so people will say, oh, well, they're going to do an audit. Now we'll know. We should be knowing now. We don't have to wait for an audit for us to know our business. Caller, let me ask you a question. Have you seen the reports of the CIP unit for 2022-23 and 2023-24? The 2 years that the government of Saint Lucia, the Labour Party government, has been in power, no report has been submitted. We're in June of 2024, and Ernest Hilaire cannot release the reports for 22-23 and 23-24. Why? All the numbers that he's quoting, caller, if he releases the report, we can get all those numbers, We can verify those numbers, release the reports. As a matter of fact, it's illegal for you because the law mandates that every year, no later than 3 months, you have to present the report in Parliament. We have not gotten the report for 22-23, nor the report for 23-24. Why? And you come in on people's television and skirt around issues and give us numbers out of the sky. Anyway, thank you, caller. We'll hold the calls because I need to answer two questions.
We need to wrap up.
Wrap up?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. The DSH caller, and if you listen to Ernest Hilaire, the DSH was an approved project. It was not the racetrack, just for your information, because Labour keep talking about the racetrack and CIP money for racetrack. Saint Lucia, the racetrack was built with over $30 million of Theo Atkins' own money. Saint Lucia never pumped 1 cent into the racetrack. We only leased the land for him so that he could build the racetrack on the land. No money of Saint Lucia was used. Additionally, he keeps saying you about no escrow account for DS. You can't find what's not there. DSH has never sold 1 passport of Saint Lucia under the CIP program. Whilst his hotel project was approved, when Labour came in, they started dilly-dallying, beating around the bush. The man has never sold a cent, 1 passport. So when Hilaire comes out and try to make it seem, well, tell us about DSH, I'm telling you, Mr. Hilaire, and you in office, you in government, the files are there, the facts are there, because Alan Chasney couldn't take the money and hide it somewhere. The files are there, the facts are there, some of the same staff are still there. Tell me, where have you seen any documentation on DSH selling anything? You cannot, and that's why you're skirting around the issue. The caller asked how many passports has been sold. During our tenure, when we left in office in 2021, Andre, we sold 870 passports in total for everything. 870. According to the minister, between July, when they came into office, and March 2024, they have sold 2,047 passports. Where's the money for that? Where is the money for that 2,047 passports? All right? So 870 vis-a-vis 2,047. Almost 3 times the amount of passports that we have sold. Okay, caller? We need to know where the money is for that. But let me wrap up because we're running out of time. St. Lucia, I want to remind you of one thing, and I want you to go with that as well. You see this thing? And that's why I believe this thing is a scam. And this thing is something that for these people will never let that go because of the money. It's all about money. Andre, there are agents, and there's something called a commission fee for the agent. So when the passport, let's say, for example, I'm interested and I go to Galaxy has to use a local agent to process the application. And these agents get a commission. All right? Initially, Galaxy's lawyer, when we were in office, was Mark Mirage. As soon as Labour Party came in, Ernest Hilaire met with Galaxy. The first course of business they did, they fired Mark Mirage. And they hired Thaddeus Antoine as the lawyer. So these would be the agents who are processing the fees. All right? And here's what the commission. The commission is if you process between 1 to 49 applications, you get 10% of the fees. If you get processed 50 to 99 applications, you get 15% of that. So it's 10% of 200,000, if that's what you ask.
So when you say process, what do you mean?
When let's say, for example, the person apply, the local agent or the lawyer would be the one to process the application through to CIP for them.
Oh, okay.
So the commission is 10%. So St. Lucia, I want you to calculate that. Ernest Hilaire's best friend, my friend too, we went to school together, Thaddeus Antoine. And there's 1-2 other little lawyers that I've heard mentioned. All right? He is now the lawyer for Galaxy. And and one of the claims that Mr. Martinez made is that Ernest Hilaire is forcing everybody to go through his preferred agent, which is Thaddeus. That's what he says. I don't know if that's true or not. But them can be because they are best friends now. All right? So they are best friends, they are business partners, everything. When I did a rough calculation of that 1,367 application that Galaxy has processed between 2021 and 2024, 10% of that fee, Andre, is $73.8 million.
Oh.
That's what you have to understand.
Easy, by the way,
that's the money. That's easy.
Easy.
$73.8 million. That's the commission that the local agents are getting. So now you understand why these people are protective of this thing. It's money, money, money. Elections are coming, St. Lucia, and you'll see the money. All right? So all of you, you're doing house to house. You campaigning. You're going to rally. You cursing people on Facebook. You're doing all kind of magic for these people. Look who's getting the $73.8 million. Certainly not you. Not our hospital, Andre. Not our budget. None of that, St. Lucia. So as we conclude, I want you to think about one thing. There's so much more that we can see. But I want you to think about one thing. It's our passports. It's our money. And the government of St. Lucia is accountable to us. I want you to just try and imagine our annual budget in this country is $1.8 billion. That's what the Prime Minister presented. Can you imagine this CIP money that all these people are making except us, the government of St. Lucia, that we could fund our hospital, Andre, we could fund our schools, we could buy medication, we could continue to fund the school feeding program, we can continue to fund the transportation subsidy, the poverty list or the pauper list, we could expend it and give more people money. All these monies people are making on our heads, selfish and greedy people, these could come to us. So St. Lucia, thank you. All I can remind you is what you're getting from this government is your 2.5% tax. You get an increase in price of gas. You have 40 cents for bread now. There's an increase in bus fare. Step on nice, that's what you deserve. Think about it as you go on the weekend. This has been another edition of Meet the Opposition. Again, happy Father's Day to all of you. And please listen this evening as the leader of the opposition respond to the lies and the deceit of Ernest Hilaire. Thank you.
Where can we listen?
And have I will let you know. I will send out the flyer. That's why I did not want to give the information. We're still working on that. But you will know before the end of today where you can listen to the leader of the opposition as he refutes the lies by Ernest Hilaire. Thank you and have a good day.
Thank you, Nancy Charles, the host of Meet the Opposition, heard on Rev Up St. Lucia Thursdays from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. So listen next week Thursday, same time, same station, 97.1 FM for another Meet the Opposition. And this is where I end my stint here on Rev Up St. Lucia. We have Tony Paul coming up next. He'll be until 3 this afternoon. From 3 o'clock is going to be Zen the DJ. He'll be on for sure this afternoon, folks. Zen from 3 until 6. To enjoy the rest of your Thursday. Andre Paul saying, so long.
Join the United Workers' Party this and every Thursday on Rev Up St. Lucia 97.1 FM for an educational and informative program, Meet the Opposition. Participate in exciting